All right, so welcome everybody. Hope everybody's having an amazing afternoon, an amazing Saturday. And once again, happy July 1st. We're getting ready for the 4th of July. Those of you that are still out waiting to self-surrender, that get to enjoy this holiday, enjoy it with your family, do something fun. Don't sit there and dwell on the negativity because that's too easy. Get out of your funk and go play with some fireworks. I hope everybody's ready for that. I know I am. I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm sure we're going to do something fun. So today's topic, it's okay to offend people. It seems like we live in a day and age where everybody is terrified to tell people what they really think or what they really feel. Whether you agree or disagree with people, so many of us are just willing to go along with whatever it is somebody else is saying, especially when it's friends, family, somebody we actually care about and we don't want to offend and we don't want to get into confrontation. We find ourselves just agreeing, even when they may be wrong. It's okay to tell somebody you don't agree with them. Or it's okay to tell somebody to quit crying, complaining, and dwelling on negativity. Just like you'll see it on Facebook all the time. Facebook is a prime example. Facebook, you'll see people put posts on there that are so negative. You know, they're so upset. They can't get a shake in life. Things are going so bad. Their boyfriend or girlfriend just broke up with them and they don't know what to do. Why would you go vent and post something on Facebook when most of us have friends on Facebook of people we don't even know? So now you're posting all of this bullshit on Facebook and everybody's catering to you. Oh, if you need somebody, give me a call. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Really, somebody needs to be like, hey, snap out of it. Quit posting bullshit on Facebook and get up and go do something about your mood. People do not want to be proactive. They would rather complain and sit in that sadness. Now, this is intensified when you're facing a federal prison sentence. I get that. It sometimes can be very overwhelming, very compelling to want to sit in the dark and do nothing. I was there. I remember those late nights staring at the ceiling. You can't go to sleep. Your mind won't shut off. And you're riddled with anxiety and you're riddled with fear of what's going to happen next. But the benefit that you guys have is hopefully, you're tuning into channels like this and you're checking out people like Win with Zach, and you're having the opportunity to tune that negative energy into something positive. It's not hard to change that course of action. When you feel yourself getting funked out, it is not that hard to change it. You just have to be willing to do something drastic to go do it. Just like Saturday, just like last week, I decided to go make that video that I came out this morning, a fitness video. I had no intentions of doing that. I got up, I was going through my normal routine, taking out the dogs, sitting around, not really doing much, and watched one of Zach's videos, and it was just positive, uplifting, and made me realize, even though I wasn't in a bad mood, there's no need for me just to be sitting around doing absolutely nothing. So I decided to get up and go do something that I enjoy doing. I took my love for making YouTube videos with my love for working out, and I took that outside and just went where nature took me. So I don't know if you guys got a chance to check out that video, but I sent most of you a text message letting you know. But if you do want to check it out, a little fitness video, kind of prison-style workouts, but also talking about the mental state of mind you need to be in to be able to do those kind of workouts. So here's a link to that. I just posted in the description. It's also in the description of the video. But yeah, so today I wanted to really focus on it's okay to go offend somebody. As a matter of fact, I'm challenging everybody watching this video to go offend somebody today. Go pick somebody and offend them. Now, don't go pick on somebody. That doesn't mean pick on people. But today, when you're out doing whatever you do, when you're engaging with whatever type of people you engage with, whoever you're having your relationships with, whether it be significant others, friends, family, children, parents, brother, sister, it doesn't matter. When they say something that you don't necessarily agree with, instead of swallowing that and just agreeing with it or shrugging it off, give them your opinion and tell them why you see it different than the way they see it. And I'm telling you, it might piss them off. It might engage into a slight argument, but it's only going to get into an argument if you let it. If you can't voice your real opinion around people that you care about or that you say care about you, what kind of a relationship do you really have? Not a good one, I can tell you that. You live in a bubble where everybody's afraid to offend everybody, and what that creates is this fake sense of caring. It's easy to smile and nod and say, yeah. It's hard to say, well, I get it, you just broke up with so-and-so, but what did you contribute to that? All I hear is all the negative stuff you're saying about that person. Clearly, at some point, you cared about this person enough to be in a relationship with them, so there must have been some benefits to the relationship. Where did it go wrong, and what role did you play in making your relationship go wrong? Or what role did you play in losing your good friend? Or what role did you play in losing your job? What role did you play in getting in trouble, the reason why you're facing federal prison? I'm telling you, all of this stuff goes hand in hand. And I've found my circle of friends getting smaller and smaller and smaller because I've been trying to live my life the way I'm talking to you guys right now. And it can be hard and challenging at times because ultimately what happens is you are unintentionally pushing people away. It's kind of the byproduct because some people do not want to hear the truth. They would rather be lied to and catered to and coddled than to be told what they need to hear in that moment. So I choose to try to not surround myself around those types of people because they don't do anything for you. It's a give and take relationship. And if you've got nothing to offer to me, I don't fucking need to know you. I get it. Some people are at different phases and some people may not be there yet. But if you're showing no will to want to advance your mind into a spot in the universe that can give back and you can understand and maybe not understand everything, but at least get enough going, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I do need to take a time out and stop complaining about every bad thing in my life. If people aren't willing to at least acknowledge that maybe they're doing something to cause this shitstorm that they're in, you can't help somebody that's not willing to help themselves. We used to say that in RDAP to people that, were struggling. And there would be other people in RDAP in the classes that were struggling and constantly getting in trouble and making mistakes. And then they would come to you and say, oh man, hey, Wise, everybody in there went by last names. Hey, Wise, you think you can help me study tonight? This and that, man, I really want to get on the right foot. I'm tired of getting in trouble. So it's like, yeah, man, let's go get into this. So you go get into it. And then the next day you see him out on the yard doing something stupid. You see him messing with the wrong people, engaging in the wrong type of activities, smoking, stealing, whatever it is. And you go up to him, you're like, hey man, yesterday you came to me and you were like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. Well, now you're back out here doing this craziness and they're around their friends and they're like, yeah, man, I'm going to get right. Just, but I appreciate it. And you see that there's this fakeness. They're trying to do what they need to do to get through the program, but they're not really trying to change. So at some point, just like cancer spreads like a nasty little fucking virus. When you've got these people in your life that aren't offering anything good, they're just sucking the good out of you, but they're not digesting that and regurgitating it. They're just getting rid of it. They're just pooping it out the other end with no interest in ever holding on to any of the energy that you're giving them. You're wasting your time. They are a cancer in your life and you need to cut them out. I don't care if it's your best friend. I don't care if it's your mom, your dad. Blood is not what it says to be. Just because someone's family does not mean that you have to cater to this bullshit. You can still care about them. You can still love them and hope the best for them, but you can't fix people if they don't want to get fixed. What's up, Michael B? Who do we got joining us? We got Michael B here with us. We still got Tamara. We got Dutchy. Dutchy's one of my favorite names to say. I can spot, it doesn't matter what chat room I'm in or whose YouTube's video I'm on. If Miss Dutchy's leaving a comment, her name just like boom jumps out, like jumps off the page. It's like, where's Waldo? Boom, there it is, Miss Dutchy. So yesterday, sup Chris? We got Chris in the house. Chris has come a long way, guys. Chris, who just popped in the room there, who just said, "Sup, Dan?" Chris has come a long way. Like a couple months ago, he would probably think that this video was directed at him, and now that he knows it's not. Actually, what stemmed this video today, what gave me the idea for this video, was I received a call yesterday from a gentleman, and I hope to God he can get through to his wife. So his wife has come under federal indictment, or she's under federal investigation. She's a target right now. A 2-year investigation. Just got notified that she's going to be indicted, and she's very much in denial to the point where she does not think she's going to go to prison. She thinks she's going to get probation, or somehow, the judge is going to. She honestly told her husband that the judge is going to see that she's not a bad person and only bad people go to prison. Well, we've talked about that. We already know that that's not the case. Good people make mistakes every day and serve time in prison for them. What's up, El Gordo? Glad you could join us, my man. So her husband is trying to be realistic in understanding that that's probably not the case. So he's been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I don't want to say behind her back, because he's not doing it out of ill intent. He's reaching out to people like me. He's watching YouTube videos. He's trying to find a way to bring it to his wife's attention and like kind of shake it out of her and say, hey, you need to wake up and realize that you probably are going to go to federal prison. So we're trying to come up with ways for him to explain this to his wife without pushing her away. Now, obviously, not everybody can hear things the same way. So you have to, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? And the words and the reflection of voice that you decide to use in a moment can have all of the difference of the impact that it makes. So my suggestion to this guy was to not necessarily go to her and say, hey, babe, you're going to prison, deal with it. Maybe say, look, we're going to fight for probation. That's obviously what we want to help. We're hoping that probation is going to be the outcome. But worst case scenario, if you are possibly might be looking at any kind of prison time, I think it's important that we also prepare for that. Just like that insurance policy we got on our car, just like that medical insurance that we hopefully have on ourselves, it's there just in case some shit goes wrong. We hope to never use it, but if we do have to use it, thank God we got it. So we're trying to get this across to her, and I realize that there's a lot of people that are in denial on thinking that nothing bad is going to happen to them. The feds are going to end up leaving them alone. They're going to think that all of this is going to just blow over and go away, that the judge is going to realize that they're not a hardened criminal. Well, the federal prison system is full of non-hard criminals. A bunch of softies go to federal prison every single day. Moms, dads, brothers, sisters, accountants, attorneys, doctors, lawyers, you name it. Everybody in every profession and every type of person can and will end up in federal prison. So when you are able to identify and digest that fact and realize that, man, I need to surround myself with people that are going to point me in the right direction and are going to tell me what I need to hear, not just this bullshit of what I want to hear. Everybody wants to hear it's going to be okay. You're not going to go to prison. The judge is going to realize you're a great woman and you have kids to take care of, and what kind of judge would send a mother to prison? Well, that person telling you that is not doing you any good. And that person might actually really believe that, because they might think the system only sends bad people to prison. But when you have people around you that are trying to tell you the truth and you're pushing them away because it's shit you don't want to hear, you're not doing yourself any good. So if you're watching this video and you're one of those people right now that is in the frame of mind that you're not ready to accept the reality of the world that you live in, that is a tough, mean, cruel, fucked up place, if you're not ready to face that reality, you need to get ready. Because if you are under federal investigation, if you think a federal indictment is coming, that usually equals prison time most of the time. I'm not going to say probation doesn't happen, but most of the time, those ingredients produce a prison sentence. It's just the way it is. Good people go to prison every single day. What are we talking about over here? Jeff Sessions wants the feds to crack down. Yep, I've been following this, and it's unfortunate, but there's nothing we can do about it. They're talking about cracking down on enforcing minimum mandatories, making it harder for nonviolent drug offenders, nonviolent criminals, white collar criminals, basically people that don't necessarily need to go to prison for a long length of time. The administration we have right now is opposing that view and thinking that more mass incarceration may be the answer. And I think we already all know that is a broken system. So it's not really going to do us any good to sit here and chirp about that. But I agree with you, Scott, 100%. It's just fucked up. It's sad, unfortunate circumstances. But politically, we are in probably the most fucked up era we've ever been in. I mean, think about how weird is it when you hear the president talk. He does not, and I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about Hillary. I'm talking about pretty much everybody we have right now that is in our view of sight that has any potential possibility of becoming a new president, the next president. It just seems like we live in a social media world where when you've got the president turning to Twitter, I don't know. It just seems very cavalier to me, to the point where we're in a dangerous time, guys, where we're probably going to see some dangerous shit go down. And I don't think it really matters. Who is going to be president in the next 4 years, in the next 8 years. I don't think it matters. I think the country is turned upside down right now so bad that social media dictates everything, and everybody does. It's almost like a giant magic trick. They got you looking over here when you should be looking over here. The real focus is on these big giant issues where we're getting ready to go to fucking war, but yet it gets spun to like some bullshit about, who lied to who and who said what, and how they can just not answer questions on the stand and they can just ignore them and say that it's confidential and they're not allowed to talk about. I mean, we're watching the biggest shit show ever take place right now, and I have no idea what to even think about it. I don't know where my views should go because I don't think it matters. I think we're going in such a stupid direction of reality TV that we're all fucked. So the only thing you can do is you can know you're fucked and try to enjoy the ride, and hopefully you can raise your head out of the ashes in the end. If you're paying attention to enough of what's going on, you'll kind of see the bullets coming. Maybe you won't take the first hit. You can pull some of the stupid people around you and hold them as shields because they're going to get killed anyway. So it's kind of like survival of the fittest right now. It's get got or go get somebody. It's one of the other. So I don't even know what to think when it comes to political views. I was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping Trump was gonna win, and now I'm kind of thinking maybe I was wrong for thinking that. And then I flip flop back and forth, and I'm allowed to flip flop back and forth because I don't spend my life on watching every move they make because you don't know what their real motives are. It's so much inter-circle political behind the scenes, fucking ninja stuff going on where they don't want us to know what their real intentions are. So they hold all the cards, we hold none. We're along for the ride. We're going to catch all the bullets in the face, and countries are going to it's going to be a fucked up time for all of us. People in prison, people not in prison. I don't think it really matters where you are when shit goes down like that. So, prophecies, end times, the Bible, man, we're coming into some serious shit here that seems like it's kind of been spoken about. So I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm religious enough to where I put faith in positivity. And if I continually do the right thing and I focus on the right things and I allow influence in my life from people that I see fit to be positive, and I take energy from them and I give energy back, I feel like if I work on just that, kind of everything else falls in suit. It's not blind faith because I work my ass off for every good thing. It's real easy to go out and make mistakes. A lot of guys that I was locked up with, that I was in the halfway house with, one guy just found out he did a 17-year bid. He got out. He was in the halfway house. Talked about nothing. He only talked about doing right. Didn't want to ever go back to prison. Just got resentenced to 30 years because he couldn't do the right thing. He was so used to the way he lived in prison and wanting nice things, and now he's out of prison and he wants nice things, and who doesn't want nice things, but he's not willing to work his way up. So he got into dealing with drugs and guns and whatever else the fuck he was doing, making some quick money. I ran into him one night. There's this casino down the street that has amazing food, like some of the best food I've ever had in this area. It's called Black Pearl. I'm not a gambler, but I like to go to the casino and eat at the dinner. They have like a separate section for dinner. Well, I ran into this guy, and he just came up, and he looked a little blitzed, like his eyes were a little foggy, and I'm talking to him, and he pulls out, I mean, it must have been that fat, just a giant knot of $100 bills, and showing off, clearly. Wanted me to see it, wanted everybody else at the table to see it. And who doesn't get impressed by seeing probably, 10 grand in someone's hand or 15 grand, whatever he had? It's impressive, but everybody at the table, including myself and people that we all knew that wasn't legit money. So we're all like, oh man, he's on something. He's on it again. Here he goes. Crash and burn. So, what's up, Zach? We got Zach in the room. Zach Attack. That should be your YouTube channel name. Zach Attack. Maybe if you were 6, we could call you Zach Attack. But I think Zach Attack's not fitting for you, Zach. But yo, Zach, I'm gonna tell you, the video I did the other day, the little fitness video, that was 100% because of you, my man. I was watching one of your videos and just got energized, got fired up, decided to go, and I was watching it on the big screen. I was sitting in the living room, flipping through the Wi-Fi on the TV or the whatever, internet TV, and boom, fucking Zach popped up. Suggested. Okay, let me see Zach's new video. Let's see what kind of crazy positive energy Zach's throwing out there today. You must be exhausted. You must sleep like a fucking baby because you have a lot of energy. And I had a lot of fun doing the video with you, Zach. But it's just crazy to see. Started sharing the love with Zach, with folks. Zach, there you go. Got tomorrow. See, tomorrow's now a diehard Zach fan. You still got to visit my channel from time to time tomorrow. But bought a book. What book did you buy tomorrow? But guys, I'm telling you, today is your day to go out and offend somebody. That's your only goal today. Go out and offend somebody. Just don't be mean about it. And when I say offend, don't just go like walk up to somebody and say, hey, your hair looks like fucking dog shit and I think you should go home and comb it. Don't be mean and attack somebody. But when somebody starts talking and you're listening and they're talking to you and you're part of the conversation and they say something where they're bitching, they're complaining, they're crying about something, they're saying something that you have an opposing view, don't bite your tongue. Don't just back off. Just say, hey, I appreciate what you're saying. I appreciate you're having a bad day. But what is this really getting you right now by complaining about it? If you want, why don't we go for a walk? You want to go for a jog? You want to go to the gym? You want to go pick up some good books? You want to go jump on YouTube? I know some guys out there, they got some amazing videos to help you get your mind right, because right now all you're doing is complaining, and it's kind of bringing my mood down just a little bit. That's what you want to say to somebody. And if you can't go say that to your friends and family, you're in more trouble than you think. Get it done. My girlfriend, she's fucking afraid to talk around me because, man, she knows not to bring negative shit around me. My kids, they know not to bring negative shit around me. I'm out in public. People, you start engaging in conversation. I am that guy that will just say what I'm feeling. I don't have a filter. I have a filter where I'm not going to offend you, and I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to say it to get off on it. I'm not going to battle with you because I enjoy arguing. But I do not enjoy being a sheep. It's like sheeple. We got all these sheeple. People walking around, following suit, walking off the edge of the cliff because somebody else did it, doing what they think they're supposed to be doing because their friends are talking about it, afraid to talk about subjects because they think it's a taboo subject, like sex offenders. Nobody wants to talk about sex offenders. Nobody wants to identify that sex offenders have a true addiction, have a true problem, and it needs to be dealt with. Everyone just wants to act like it doesn't exist. send them to prison. They go through the rotating gate, come back out of prison, and reoffend. And then when it's your kid or it's my kid, now we want to go, well, what the fuck is wrong with this person? We don't care about anybody else. We live in these bubbles where we're only concerned about our own self-being. If we really actually united as like a person, as a community helping people, community is method, people helping people. If we actually lived by those rules, we could fucking rule the planet to the point where everything would be fair. Gas prices wouldn't be ridiculous. Prices of, you wouldn't spend $800 for an iPhone. You wouldn't spend $100,000 for a car because people would refuse to do it because for the common good, we're all going to say, this is what we're going to do because we the people make the rules. No, we don't. We the people are fucking scared and afraid to do anything to uprise against anything. We don't want to cause any ripples. We don't want to make any waves. We don't want to make any noise. We just want to sit comfortably in our little bubble and work 1,000,000 hours a week for nothing. For nothing. That's the most frustrating thing I've ever seen. I see people that love overtime. It's like, oh man, I got my overtime in this week. It's Thursday and I'm already in overtime. It's like, you've worked like 70, 80, 90 hours a week. For what? For what? To have a little bit of extra money that you don't have any time to enjoy it. If you can't enjoy your life, if you can't go out with your friends, if you can't enjoy your kids other than 30 or 40 minutes a week or an hour here or there, if you can't take time to enjoy life, you need to reevaluate what you're doing. I'm not saying go quit your job. That's not the answer, guys. The answer is not go quit your job and become homeless and not be able to pay your bills. That's not the answer either. You've gotten yourself into a point of life where now you might be realizing that this is not where you want to be forever. You don't want to become a slave to society forever. So now you have to come up with a new plan. And remember, guys, change doesn't happen overnight. So you can't just go, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to sit home and figure out something because then the bills don't get paid. Lights go off. The wife gets mad. Kids get mad or husband gets mad, whoever. So what you do is you start plotting and planning. You start saying, okay, I'm not going to work as much overtime. I'm going to take 2 or 3 hours a week and I'm going to dedicate it to something that I really want to do. And I'm going to start growing something. You know, you're going to start planting seeds and getting something going. So 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, you can have a direction to go in where you can build. I was working my YouTube channel while working a full-time job. So I was putting in 40 plus hours a week on my every spare minute I had. Some days on my breaks, my lunch breaks, I was shooting videos. I was coming up with content. I was making notes, staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning. When the rest of the people are sleeping, RDAP Dan's hustling. When the rest of the people are going out and partying at night, RDAP Dan's at home working on videos and editing letters and talking to content writers, figuring out what we can do next. I don't ever turn off. And I've realized that now, finally, not even two, and it's not that long, not even 2 years into it, I'm finally starting to see some of the benefit of the reward to where now, if I choose to, I can slow down just a little bit and I can take an afternoon here or there. I can take a Saturday and Sunday and make sure I got my video prepared for Saturday. I can make a pre-recorded video and put it up for you guys Saturday at 1 o'clock and then be able to go out and do something with my girlfriend. My kids are going to be here next week. I'm going to enjoy every minute. I'm not going to be stuck at a 9-to-5 job that I hate. My kids are going to be here for a couple of weeks and I'm going to enjoy every single minute of it. I don't have to worry about taking time off because, you know, my paycheck's not going to come in the mail because I'm not going to be at work with a punch card. I'm choosing the road, the destiny that I want, and I'm willing to do everything necessary to get it without hurting anybody along the way, or at least not attempting to hurt anybody along the way. And you guys have the ability to do the same thing. People are afraid to take chances. People are afraid to take risks. It's an inherent thing. If you're not willing to go out and do something to change your life, then you're going to be stuck in the life that you got right now, and you might as well just accept it. So there was a ramble and a half. Just reading some of these comments here. Yeah, I'm super excited about that tomorrow. Hoping for halfway house in 15 months. Seeing your kids is awesome. Yeah, you know, I went to prison in September of 2014, so I didn't see my kids the entire time, obviously, while I was in prison. And then I got out of prison in October 2015. First time I saw my kids was last Christmas, or not Christmas, but last December or November is the first time I saw them. So it's been almost a year again since I've seen them. And now they're going to be up here on the 6th. So next Thursday, they're going to be up here for a couple weeks. And don't worry, I'm going to twist their little arms and get them to come. They're going to come be a guest speaker on the YouTube channel, RDAPdan. I might get them to host each one of them. We might have like a Saturday and a Monday YouTube video having them do it instead of me. So that would be fun. RDAPdan children, little bastards. I can't wait to see him. I'm super excited. That's probably half of my energy levels, like, because of that right now, and the coffee, and the fact that I'm going to go eat some of tomorrow's ribs when I'm done. Tomorrow's cooking ribs, guys. So if anybody wants ribs, I'll meet you at tomorrow's house at about 7 o'clock tonight. Oh, and we have a winner for the contest that we did for the free consulting. I'm still waiting for her name. All I know is it's a 954 area code. So I guess that's South Florida somewhere, Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton. But then again, like some people move out of state with the same numbers. But so we did get a winner. So for those of you, that didn't win, well, better luck next time. And I appreciate you guys for joining in. Greasy, what's going on? I guess we'll have to ask my kids. We'll ask my kids that next time they're here. You can ask them when they come here next week if I'm a cool dad. I like to think so. My kids probably think I'm a dork. They probably think I'm a nerd because I'm always doing stuff to embarrass them. Especially now, 17, 15, gotta take advantage of that and embarrass them pretty good. Yes, Michael B, I am. I'm going to do it on, what do you call it? On certain videos. Not every video, but certain videos that I think would be, that would help somebody that's in prison, yes. And I'm still getting pricing together on that. It's either that or using the free service. But, yeah, guys, so I hope everybody is planning to have an amazing 4th of July. You guys got it. I know a lot of you. I know there's actually a few clients that got extensions to not have to self-surrender because they wanted to be out for the 4th of July. Can't blame you on that. They had to pull some strings, make up some excuses, have some doctor's appointments to go to. But a couple of them were able to get extensions on their surrender by like 30 days so they could have this last go out with a bang. Look, when you're getting ready to go to prison, it's like in Vegas. What happens in Vegas, what you do on that weekend in Vegas, man, do it all. Don't hold back. Just don't get any bad habits from it, but don't hold back. Have a blast. Don't break any laws. But if this is your last 4th of July and you're getting ready to go to prison soon, don't have any regrets. Do whatever you want to do on that night or whatever night that you're out. But just be safe and make sure you're not going to be driving if you're going to do something ridiculous. But have fun because you're going to prison for a minute. You're going to have plenty of time to regroup and get your mind right. The time is no problem being away from my daughter. The real test will be out just going to work and get some type of class, stay busy. Dan, I'd like to get them to read. You asked if I got my self-surrender paper yesterday, and I do. So where are you self-surrendering, Mike? You got your papers, huh? And when do you have to self-surrender? What's your date? Mike's going to go all out this 4th of July. Oh, boy. I expect to see footage, Mike. I would like to get a video sent of the unincorporated Michael B. I get some funny videos, guys. Some of you late night, you're like stressing, and I get some funny text messages. I get some funny memes. I get funny videos. I get some not funny videos. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a video just so you guys want to know. I already know what the video is going to be on Monday. It's going to be on, I don't know what the title is going to be, but I got an email. I should pull it up. I'm going to save it for Monday. I'm just going to give you the cliff notes. So I got an email from a prison consultant. I don't know which one because he sent it from a bogus fucking email that I can't respond to, but basically telling me that if I don't stop offering the prices I'm offering and giving free giveaways and talking about how much all these other prison consultants charge, that I'm going to be sorry and that I will be ruined. So I'm not sure what that means. I mean, obviously it's some kind of a threat. Clearly he's referring to the fact that I charge an average for my typical client $14.95, just under $1,500, while the average prison consultant charges on a good side $3,500 up to $10,000 to $15,000. So clearly my $14.95 is causing some issues for them because I imagine, like, let's just pick any one of you. Let's pick Michael B. So Michael B calls around, calls up RDAPdan, give him the spiel, give him all the bells and whistles. Here's the price, $14.95. Great. I'm going to do my homework, though. I'm going to check around, see what else is out there. So he calls prison consultant A, B, C, D, all the way down, and all their prices are quite a bit more than mine. So start comparing apples to apples. Well, what am I getting for $10,000 that I'm not getting for $1,500? And, of course, I'm sure they're going to find something to tell you. Well, I spent more time in prison. I've been in the pen. I've been in the medium. I've been in the low. And I've been in the camp. I've got connections with the BOP. My best friend used to work for Grand Prairie, Texas. And, all of this shit that's probably not true. But anyway, so they give this. But when you really digest it all, you're like, well, fuck, man. Why am I going to give this guy 10 grand? Is it because he thinks that because I spent so much money on an attorney that, what's another 5-10 grand? I don't know the actual answer. I don't know where the price point started in the world of prison consulting. Now, granted, like I said, if I were going to go out and meet somebody, like not like go to my office, but I mean if I was going to like fly to their state or, go on like a day's drive, okay, yeah, now we're talking, now expense, things like that, time is money. But for 99% of my clients, it's phone, email, YouTube, things like that. So this email that I got from whoever it is, I've got some ideas, really kind of like, it's just going to make me make a video talking about that and getting a little bit more in depth and pushing a little bit harder, making sure, because here's what's going to happen. Here's the end result. Other prison consultants are going to have to reduce their fees. There is no way around it. There is no way around it. It's just like if all of a sudden some builder that started building houses and selling them all for $50,000 where every other house in the neighborhood is $200,000. Guess what? The price is going to come down. It's going to hurt everybody that's got these expensive houses, but people can control things. We have power to dictate. I could have gone out there and said, okay, the average person's charging $5 grand. I'm going to charge $3 grand. Still underneath them, but still plenty of money for me to make. That's what it's like greed. Greed is like taking over fucking America. We are McDonald's. We're like, what are we known for in America? Fucking McDonald's, Best Buy, Walmart. These are like our accomplishments. Stealing land. These are our big accomplishments. Fucking making money. We're known as a rich country, and people feel like they're entitled and they deserve shitloads of money for something that they could offer for a fraction of the price and still make a good living. I make a fair living. And my business is only growing, guys. It's only growing, and I'm not ripping people off, and I'm not charging these enormous fees. I give everybody realistic expectations. Everybody that comes to me knows there is zero guarantees in what can happen. There's likelihoods, there's better case scenarios, there's worst case scenarios, there's odds, there's this might work better in this situation. But everybody that comes to me, the one thing that they know is that I am not promising you anything other than our team is going to bust our ass for you. That's the only thing I'm guaranteeing you. I will tell you, the sooner you come to me, the sooner in your situation that you come to me, hopefully before you do your PSR, hopefully right after you've been indicted, then we have a really good chance at making a huge impact. But if you've already been sentenced and you're already in prison, and now we're trying to make extra things happen, like trying to help you get into the residential drug addiction program, and you don't have stuff that needs to be in your PSR, or you're just trying to get additional halfway house time, those things are not as likely to happen on a regular basis as somebody that starts earlier preparing way back when. That's why preparation is the most important thing that somebody can start doing. Preparation early on is going to breed awesome results. Jumping in and trying to get something good at the very end because you waited and didn't make the right choices early on, not saying good things won't happen. It happens all the time. We get good results for people all the time, but the odds are definitely lower on that side because there's other things that are preventing. There's other hurdles that have to be hurdled now. So you guys know what's up. They're messing with my boy Dan. Who is? Oh, duh. Yeah, I'm going to do a video on that, guys, Monday. And I'm hoping, God, look, if I find out who it is, I would love to air them out on YouTube and just throw their name out there. Because I'm actually honored. I didn't take it as like, oh my God, I better back off. I took it on as like, let me hit that button a little faster. Let me go a little further into this prison consulting space and ruffle a little more feathers. Because I love the fact that I've consumed YouTube. I've like taken over YouTube in the prison consulting realm. A lot of these other guys don't even post anymore on YouTube. Like, what's the point? We're just competing with a guy that charges a fraction of the cost, gives 1,000,000 times more value, is fucking personable, and is 100% the way he is on YouTube is the same goofy guy he is out in the real world. That's the thing with me is I feel like I have the ability to be real, but when shit needs to get done, I'm also that guy. I'm like a little masked ninja that I can fit into any situation I need to fit into. And that's what got me through prison so well is I was able to go hang out with the hoodest of the hood, or I could go hang out with the nerdiest of the nerds and have stuff in common with both sides, because I try not to judge people too much. Everybody does it, but I try to catch myself when I'm doing it and seeing what I can learn from this person. And what, when you see like repressed people in prison, it's true. The black population in prison is a struggling, it's a revolving door. It's not a race thing. It's not like, let's keep the black man down thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the product of how they were grown up in a lot of these areas where they've never known like what it's like to really go out and actually work a real job. They grew up in some really, really, really broke down areas where drugs, gangbanging, prostitution, slinging dope, guns, that's just all they've ever known. So now you put them into a prison environment where that environment is kind of the same, because a lot of the people from those neighborhoods end up in prison. So now they go to prison and they know a lot of their friends, a lot of their family, even a lot of the COs who made that direction. Instead of going for a life of crime, they became law enforcement. They all know each other. So they get out. It's not a big deal. It's like, this is just a part of life. I've spoken to a lot of younger black dudes and they told me, we expect to go to prison someday. It's just part of what we do. We expect, I'm going to go to prison, I'm going to get out of prison. I'm going to go to prison, I'm going to get out of prison. Our family knows we expect to do it, so we save as much money as we can, and we live life while we can, but we're going to go to prison. So it's sad to hear that side of it, but it's fucking true. It just is what it is. And it's not something that's going to change anytime soon. It's only getting worse, especially now with all of this hate and racial shit going out there in the world, and Black Lives Matters. I'm not saying Black Lives don't matter, but what I'm saying is media, the propaganda behind it, they're using it to fuel ratings for TV shows and talk shows and news stations. And the people that don't really understand it, that just jump on Facebook and start posting, they're part of the problem. It's just perpetuating deeper and deeper and deeper. And we're just going to see this now. That's why it's like, just get the fuck out the way and watch it happen. Because you can't, that train is going so fast and so hard, you cannot derail it. It's going to take an act of God to change the way the world is right now. Because it's only gotten worse. Racial content and hate is worse now in fucking 2017 than it was in 1987, 1990. When I was in school, it was not like it is now. Now it's literally like fucked up. It's really fucked up. And it's on both sides. So it's very sad. What is the first appearance at Marshall's office? Greasy, are you talking about actually getting physically charged? Is that what you're talking about, Greasy? Is because you haven't been indicted yet, right? So this is going to be your official indictment. If that's what you're asking, it's just more than likely for you, it's going to be go in, process, fingerprint, take a picture, and you'll leave. You'll go back out on bond. You'll actually go out on bond. That's when your pretrial will actually start. That's what should have happened to me, but it did not. It's pretty much what happened to Shelly. She went in, saw the judge same day, and left same day. But if you clarify that question, I'll answer it for you. And Johnny's hoping for some good news. Aren't you there, Johnny boy? Me and Shelly are pretty excited about that, Johnny. Johnny heard some really good news from his pretrial, from his PSR probation officer. Heard it second party, but needless to say, it was good news. So we gotta wait and see how that one plays out. We might have Johnny with us for a little bit longer on this YouTube channel. So what are you guys going to do tonight for Saturday night? Saturday is date night tonight for me. We are going to go out to dinner. We honestly might go to a movie. I wanted to go do something crazy, like go out and go dancing or something, but I'm not going to lie. That workout video I did for you guys, I don't know if it was the hill sprints or not, but I can hardly walk. Like, thank God I'm sitting in a chair right now, because walking is painful. I really battered my legs, so I'm not sure exactly what it was. Oh, my bad, Jay. I met you. Sorry, Johnny. I'm hoping for good news for you too, Johnny. Jay, I met Jay. Got some amazing news. Sorry, Jay. I totally blew a gasket on that one. You're like, you're fired. I'm not sending you any more money. You don't even know my name. Jay Hugasane. Yeah, no, Jay Hugasane got some really good news from his PSR probation officer. So that's doesn't get better. Look, yeah, Johnny. Sorry, man. I was talking about Jay, but I said your name for some reason. Okay, got it. So real quick, I'm talking like three different people real quick. Greasy, to you. So is that what's happening? You're going in to get officially charged and then probably released, right? You're going to get booked and released. That's what you're referring to? And Johnny, I was talking to you, but I was meant to be, I was actually talking about Jay and what's going on with his situation, and I threw your name in there by accident because I'm looking at everybody here together. So, okay, Johnny's all confused now. So, Johnny, Jay got some good news last week from his probation officer that's doing the PSR. That possibly they might recommend probation for him because of everything that he's been doing and the effort that's going into his letters and the type of person he is and his job and just making a difference. And when I was saying that story, I accidentally said your name instead of his name. So my bad. I hope that happens for you too, but I meant that for Jay. I feel you, Johnny. The closer I got to actually self-surrendering became like very, very, very unfathomable. Very unlike, I can't believe I'm going to make a drive 4 hours from here just to go walk into prison gates so they can lock me up for 42 months. It was a really hard pill to swallow, to the point where like it required a lot of alcohol and a lot of marijuana to be able to cope with that. And I didn't care. I was already done. I was already sentenced. I didn't care if I tested dirty. I didn't care if I got arrested. I was just fucking over it. But I can tell you, you don't want to do that, Johnny, because they did test me the first day I got there, and I tested positive for THC. And they decided to not make it an issue for me. But they could have. They could have put me in solitary confinement. They wanted to know if I was going to go through withdrawals, if I had any other drugs in my system. And because of that fear that they had that I might withdraw, they almost put me in solitary confinement for like a week to keep an eye on me. I had to persuade them that, look, man, all I did was smoke a little bit of weed and I drank last night. I'm not going to go through withdrawals. I really had to convince them. But they very well could have threw me into solitary confinement. So my words of wisdom to you is not worth it. Dan, can you discuss the details of halfway house living? Where do you eat, sleep, bathroom, laundry, work, check in, check out? We have read about pretrial and going in, but halfway house remains a mystery. Okay, I'm going to make it quick because we're about up to the hour, and I'm going to do my best. And remember, while I answer this halfway house question, you have to realize that not every halfway house works exactly the same way. So this is my halfway house experience. So the halfway house was a big building, a one-story building that had basically you walk in, it's a building. As soon as you walk in the front door, there's a window to your left, almost like when you go to the doctor's office and there's a window where they can open and close the little sliding glass door. You walk in, you tell them your name. They immediately give you a breathalyzer. It's like a thing you blow in. You have to blow in that right then and there. Every time you come in the building, you have to blow in the breathalyzer to make sure you don't have any alcohol in your system. And then you stand in the hallway and you wait in the hallway for one of the guys that works there. They called them RMs, room monitors. One of the RMs to come in. They pat you down, make sure you don't have anything on you you're not supposed to have. Go through your backpack. They go through everything you have on you, checking you, and then they can decide to UA you, random UAs. They can UA you at any time, and they might say, okay, we're going to go do a UA, and they take you to the bathroom, watch you pee. So that's every time you come in, they do that. Every time you leave, you have to go check out at the window. They have to know where you're going, when you're going. It's got to be predetermined where you're going to go. We'll talk about that in a second. So the living quarters where I was, the main room was just one big room where there was about maybe 20 bunk beds. So 20 bunk beds, so it's 40 beds. 20 to 30 bunk beds. So there's about 40 to 50 actual beds in this one room with no windows. One small table in the middle where there was some shitty things like cards and some really old magazines. That was all that was in that room, as well as your lockers. There was a bathroom connected to it. It was a big, like almost like a bathroom that you would have like in school. There was one shower. It was like just a big open shower with a curtain. And you go in there and, you take private showers, but, it sucks. You're in the shower, whatever. And they've got little bathroom stalls and sinks. Similar to what's in prison, but not as nice. Then there was a little cafeteria, like a kitchen. Not a cafeteria, but a kitchen with nothing in it except for like a refrigerator that you can't go in. It's only the RMs, the people that work there, the staff members. That's where they store food and stuff. There's a microwave in there, so if you want to like heat up your coffee or something like that. There was a shitty TV in there, a little small TV that sometimes there was decent stuff on there, sometimes there wasn't. That was pretty much the gist of the halfway house. You can't ever go outside unless you're approved to go outside. So you can't just be like, I'm going to go outside and go for a walk. It doesn't work that way. You're in that halfway house all day long. So now we'll talk about leaving the halfway house and going to places like to work and things like that. So When you get to the halfway house, you're usually going to be there probably a week to 2 weeks before you get a job, because you have to get processed and all that stuff. Then you can go start looking for a job. When you start looking for a job, you have to tell them where you're going to go apply. So let's say you're going to go apply at, Best Buy. You're going to say, well, I'm going to Best Buy on Tuesday. I'm leaving my interview is at, let's say, 1 o'clock. So they'll let you leave the halfway house at 12 o'clock. Get to your interview. They figure your interview is going to run 30 or 40 minutes. So you got to be back by like 2:30. So they time all of this. They time how long it takes you to get there, how long it takes you to get back. So they know exactly when you should be leaving the halfway house and returning to the halfway house. If you're not there on time, you can get in trouble because you're out in open custody without permission. Same thing if you want to go to Walmart or something like that. You have to give them a week's notice that you want to go to Walmart to go do shopping for like hygiene, maybe some clothes, maybe some coffee, some basic things that you need. You can't just go because I'm out of stuff, I want to go to Walmart. You can only go to Walmart like once a month or twice a month, something like that. You can go get a haircut once a month. You can go to the gym for an hour a day during certain times of the day, depending on what halfway house you're at. But you have to give them a week on everything you're going to go do when you leave the halfway house. They have to know a week ahead of time your entire schedule. You can't just decide today that I'm going to go to the gym today without them already knowing about it. Your schedule's got to be approved a week ahead of time. The only thing that they'll let you do sometimes on a moment's notice is go apply for a job. If an employer calls you back and says, hey, we're interested in hiring you, we need you to come in today or tomorrow, that you can get an emergency approval done for because it's for a job. That's about it. Weekend visits, you can go home on the weekends once you've been approved for 48 hours. You leave at a certain time. You got to return at a certain time. You can't leave your house when you're on a weekend visit. So when you get to your house, you're basically like on home confinement for the weekend. You can't go anywhere. You're going to be on an ankle monitor. They're going to be tracking you. They're going to call you randomly throughout the day. They're going to call you in the middle of the night. You have to answer the phone every time. And it is what it is. It's not fun. It's not pleasant, but you can get out, make real money. You can eat real food, and you can see your family on the weekend. They don't have really family time tomorrow other than going home on the weekends. Your family can come there and visit you, like for an hour or 2 hours a week. They can come in. There's like they have a little room set aside, like a couch and stuff, where you can have like a visit, but you can't go out to like dinner and movies and things like that. I've heard some halfway houses will allow you to do that. How do you travel? Bus, yes. Some halfway houses will let you use a cab or Uber if it's been approved. You can definitely take the bus. Most halfway houses will let you drive your own car if you have a car with insurance and a valid driver's license, and you can prove it. And as long as they have space to keep the car. Some halfway houses have no space, so they don't let you have your car because there's nowhere to keep it. But like the halfway house I was at, they had space where you could park your cars on the street, so you could have your car at the halfway house. But if you're like, let's say they give you an hour to go to the gym, usually they'll give you an hour to get there and an hour to get back if you're taking the bus. If they know you're driving, it cuts down on your travel time. They'll say, well, it doesn't take you an hour because now you're driving. So now we're giving you 15 minutes to get to the gym, do your hour at the gym, and 15 minutes to get back. So it turns into an hour and a half. So it really cut from 3 hours. So you just gotta realize that when you get to the halfway house, it is what it is, and you're just gonna have to learn the process and deal with it for the short amount of time you're going to be there. Even if it's a year, a portion of that, hopefully you'll be able to do on home confinement. 10% of your sentence can be done in home confinement. So if you're sentenced to 60 months, you're allowed to do 6 months of that on home confinement. Doesn't mean you're going to get 6 months of home confinement. Just means that's how much time they're allowed to give you. So yeah, and then look, the longer you're there, the more you prove yourself, the more you show you're not a fucking idiot and you're not going to take advantage and try to beat the system every chance you get, the more likely they are to give you a little bit of leeway and not bust your chops so much. But you're going to find out there's a lot of goof-offs in the halfway house that try to, like, they'll say they're going out on job hunts. They'll give, like, this is where I'm going, and they don't really go there. They go out and hang out with their friends and family, hang out with the girlfriend usually, and they end up getting caught almost every time. And not every time, but eventually that person gets caught. And once that person does get caught, they crack down on the rules and they try to find different ways to block that from happening. And it really affects the people that are trying to do good because of how many people are trying to screw up. So that's what you got to realize is all of these bullshit rules that are in place are because of all of the people that break the rules religiously. So if people weren't out there fucking up all the time, then it wouldn't be so stressful and so hard for you. Same stickiness with home confinement. Pretty much, Tamara, when you're on home confinement, same shit applies. You can't really just go where you want to go when you want to go. You have to get passes and approvals. Same thing. If you're not at work, you're at home. If you're not on your gym pass, you're at home. Everything you do while you're in home confinement, like going to work, going to school, going to the gym, going grocery shopping, all of that stuff has to be approved a week ahead of time as well. Your boss might want you to stay late as long as the boss calls the halfway house and says, hey, Ian's going to be coming home an extra hour. We need to keep him an hour later today. They make a note, and as long as it's your boss calling in, they'll make that approval. But you better believe they're going to check it with your timesheet at the end when you turn in your subsistence, because remember, you pay 25% of your gross income, and you have to turn it in with your hours worked. So they're going to verify that. So unless your boss is hooking you up and he's playing a shady game where he's paying you under the table or something just to give you extra time, with PO. Home confinement, Tamara, you're not under your PO. Home confinement, you're still under the halfway house. You're not under probation. Your probation doesn't start until you finished halfway house and home confinement. So when you're on home confinement, all of the rules and regulations are still governed by the halfway house. Your probation officer has nothing to do with you yet. You don't start your probation time until you've finished all of your halfway house time, which includes your home confinement time. A lot of people get that confused. A lot of people think once they get to the halfway house that their probation starts. Doesn't start. Like I had 3 years of probation. My 3 years of probation did not start until I finished my 11 months of halfway house, which was combined of some halfway house, some home confinement. Then my 3 years started. How legit does your boss job have to be? Can my buddy hire me and just let me watch TV? For the most part, no, because they're going to go out and verify the employment. They're going to make sure that they have all the proper, L&I, different insurances, make sure they're taking out taxes out of your paycheck. They're actually going to verify that, they can't just say they're paying you a flat fee. It's got to be hourly. They got to be able to manage how much you're supposed to be making. They're going to go out and check your job. They're going to go out and meet with your employer before you get the job. They're going to tell your employer, so-and-so is a felon. This is what they went to prison for. Here's their charges. They're not going to talk about past charges, only the charge from the instant offense. So it could be hard to get a bullshit job because they do random check-ins on your job. They'll randomly just pop in while you're supposed to be at work just to make sure you're there, just to see you, and then they'll turn around and leave. Sometimes you don't even see them see you. You'll see it in your note that so-and-so came to your work today and verified your employment. You're like, I didn't even know they came. So we see people all the time getting in trouble. They're supposed to be at work. It was their day off. Their boss called and said, he needs to come into work today. Meanwhile, they didn't have to go to work today. They used that to go out and hang out with friends or family. And one of the staff members just happens to drive by your work. So it can definitely backfire on you. All these thoughts on what you're thinking right now, how legit does your boss job have to be? Those kind of questions and thought patterns are the reason why, and I'm not saying you, don't take this personally, but that's the reason why the rest of us get fucked. Because so many people do not want to do the right thing for a short period of time. And 3 months to 12 months in the reality is a short period of time. So if you can't walk a straight line for a short period of time, you can probably count on your life continually being not where you want it to be. Whether that means going back to prison or whether that just means constantly chasing some kind of a dream that's not a reality. I'm trying to live a reality where other people see it as a dream. That's the life that I want to live, and that's what I'm trying to fight for. So just remember, you're not going to agree with everything that you run up against, but don't blame the staff or the system. Blame the people that constantly test it. Constantly test it. Constantly test it. Because every time somebody tests it and they get away with it, now another reinforcement gets put in place, and now it's just this giant brick wall of barbed wire and do's and don'ts, and millions of rules because people can't just do what they're supposed to do. Look, it's okay, man. At least you're identifying that you're still fucking up. That's the changing doesn't just mean I'm going to change. Changing means you're going to start progressing towards change. And first, you got to identify that you're struggling. And if you're identifying that you're struggling, which that's what you just said, you're still fucking up. That means there's hope. At least you're doing it and you're not making excuses. You just have to test. You just have to try to make changes. Give yourself small goals that you can come up with and that you can obtain and hold yourself accountable to. It's okay. So you're going to go get a job. It's humbling. A lot of people never had jobs before. You've never had a job. You've been self-employed for 20 years. Well, this is going to be a humbling experience for you. You're going to go get a job that you probably don't like, don't appreciate, don't want to have, but you're going to go do it because you have to, and it's going to be better than being in the halfway house, and you're probably going to realize that you don't hate it as much as you thinking you're going to hate it. So a lot of people wouldn't hire you, but there's a lot of people that would hire you. So, you gotta just think to yourself that I got this, I'm going to do it. And you have to be able to progress and make change. You have to be willing to do things. You have to be willing to focus and have an I can do attitude versus an I can't do attitude. Because anybody can give up and quit. Not everybody can fight for what they want. So you're here on this channel for a reason, my man. You've been watching for a while now. You've been engaging in the community. So seeds are being planted. You may not notice the change or the growth right this minute, but when the time comes and you start making those rational decisions that you might not have made in the past, this is when all the stuff that we're talking about is going to apply and kick back in. So don't beat yourself up if you're not seeing immediate change, man, because change is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. Guys, I'm hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to wrap this bad boy up because no one's going to watch it later if I don't. If you guys have any other questions regarding halfway house, making sure that, hey, remember, today, your guys' goal, go out and fucking offend somebody. Go offend somebody that says something that's wrong or that you don't agree with or that's complaining about life. Give them some good feedback, something they need to hear and they can think about later on. Even if it pisses them off, take them out of their bubble. Push them out of that comfort zone. Guys, I'm RDAPdan. I love every single one of you. Make sure you take a look at Zach's channel. Make sure you go check out the video that I just did with Zach. It's in the description of this video. I had a lot of fun doing it about relationships. So yeah, hope you guys have a great weekend. Have a happy 4th of July if I don't talk to you. I will see you guys Monday at 7 p.m. All right, guys, RDAPdan. Like I said, love every single one of you. Have an amazing weekend. I'm out of here. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.